So you're thinking about moving to Sugarland. In this video, we're going to talk about all the different costs involved with living in Sugarland to make sure that you have an understanding, at least a good working knowledge of the things to consider, which you may not consider. Stay tuned to the very end and we'll give you the best kept secret of Sugarland that you don't want to miss. We're going to get after it right now. If this is your first time to our channel and you want everything there is to know about living life in Houston, Texas, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market in Houston, Texas. My name is Joseph Diazana and welcome to Living Life in Houston, Texas. My partner, Carrie Josephson, and our team of realtors get calls and messages every day from people just like you and you and you and you and you looking for help on living life in Houston, Texas, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving in 10 days or 100 days, give us a call, shoot us an email, send us a text. All of the information is in the description so we can help you make your move smooth to Houston, Texas. All right, let's break down the cost of living in Sugarland, Texas, and just got to go through the different components of it. So the biggest piece is going to be housing. Let me break down housing for you. Housing is this formula: PI plus HOA. P plus I is principal plus interest, and that's your mortgage payment. And that's really comprised of what the mortgage rates are doing today. So if you have a higher interest rate, obviously your monthly payment, your mortgage payment, excuse me, will be higher. So try to get a lower interest rate. In this interest rate environment, things are shifting. So as soon as they start to drop, that's really when you should act, because if you act first and it goes lower, then more people will jump into the market, and that may actually drive properties that you really like up against. The rest of the monthly payment is plus T plus I, plus taxes plus insurance. And the second component of that, TI, is your location. It's driven by your location. So T, taxes, is property taxes. In most places in Sugarland, a good majority of them have what they call a mud tax. There's an additional tax because of the location. So if you pick that location, that community, you have an additional tax called a mud tax. So be very mindful that if you like that pretty house, you're really buying the area and you're buying also the cost. The second I, T plus I plus T plus I, is insurance. Some locations have flood insurance. Other places in Sugarland may not require it. We always recommend that you have flood insurance. Standard flood insurance, meaning you're not in a flood zone and there's no risk, or there's lower risk, but there's no requirement by your lender to have flood insurance, is roughly about $700 or $800 a year. And that's super important because that is a program that the government provides to you. HOA is your HOA dues. So one of the things that you got to understand when you're purchasing a house, that in certain master plan communities, you have a one-time charge for the buyer, which is called a capitalization fee. Every buyer that buys into that community pays for it. So make sure you talk with a realtor who knows what they're talking about, who understand these nuances, because it's kind of important. That's what drives your home prices. All right, utilities. Utilities have all gone up. Water has gone up. Gas has gone up, and of course power, especially during the summer months. From June, sometimes it goes as long as August. For sure, July through September, it is hot. So your AC is really working really hard, and you just got to make sure that you get that maintenance plan for them to come out in spring and fall so that you keep your AC running during the summer. By the way, side note, I know a company that offers a lease for AC. So instead of spending $12,000 or $15,000, you can lease it, and it's just a little bit per month. And now you have a fancy dancy AC unit, and your family is safe and comfortable. Groceries. Apparently, we're 5% above the national average. I guess it's because we eat a lot here. Transportation, usually the cost of it is $150 to $300, depending on where you have to travel in the city. We do have tollways. So how that works is you get a a sensor, a sticker sensor that you stick in your car. As you go on the tollway, it'll automatically scan it. So it's super easy. We used to have those man booths where they collect coins, but no longer. They took them out and require everybody to use a pass, a tollway pass. You don't really have mass transit. I first moved to Houston and I stayed with a friend of mine and her parents, and they asked me, so how are you going to get to work? Do you have a car? I go, do I need one? They fortunately had an extra car and I lucked out. They let me borrow the car for 4 months and then I got my own car and I moved out. But man, did not know you had to have a personal vehicle. And you know what? If you move to Houston, you have to have one. There's very few walkable, truly walkable areas in Houston, and most of them are going to be close to downtown center. Now you can do Uber and Lyft and all those things, but it can get quite expensive after a little bit of time. Healthcare, medical services, insurance, emergencies, according to the records, it's slightly above the national average. Dining out, it says here $10 to $50 per meal. I think that's at like fast food. Or maybe my meal choices are very high. That seems low. Entertainment, movies, concert, events, unless you're doing Taylor Swift, it's pretty nominal. Taylor Swift is super expensive, and Beyonce for sure. Gym membership, $20 to $70 a month. Yes, that's about right. There's different places that you can go to go work out or do it for free, because there's several parks that you can go out there, except for if you're in the summer or if you're a CrossFit person. If you like CrossFit, I used to do CrossFit. They don't believe in AC. It's just a big old fan. They just need a big fan and you can just sweat. Childcare, daycare, and babysitting services are $700 to $1,200 a month. Sometimes churches offers programs and things like that. But that's pretty much the cost of living that I can think of. Actually, the best source is use the cost of living index. There's several of them out on the internet and Google. So just type in cost of living differences between Houston and where you're coming from, really to figure out if you're getting an equal pay when you come over here, or if you need to get a bump in bonus, because it's important. By the way, the other thing I would throw in there is if you're coming from a lower rate environment, and if they really want you, they'll cover the cost of the difference between your 3.25% loan and your 7% loan that you have to buy a house with. So I would definitely include that in your negotiations when you come over here. At least put that as a consideration, especially when you're going from one to the next. So all right, well, that's all I have for the moment on the cost of living in Sugar Land. You definitely will be driving more, so you may want to think either electric car or a car that's new that has a very good gas mileage. Definitely important. Until next time, have a good day, sunshine, and we'll see you around the Bayou City.